Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, picture this. You're staring at the ceiling. The clock reads 3 a.m. and you feel completely, utterly drained, yet you're wide awake. If you've ever been there, you already know the absolute frustration of that middle of the night wake up. Well, I'm here to tell you, you are definitely not alone. Today, we aren't just talking about getting enough sleep, we're talking about exactly when you sleep. And we're going to unlock a pretty fascinating, ancient solution to this very modern problem, the Chinese medicine body clock.
So here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the science of sleep timing, then move chronologically, block by block, through the night. After that, we'll map out your body's emotional clock, and finally give you the practical tools to actually restore your sleep cycle. Let's dive right in.
Starting with Section 1, the science of sleep timing. Because to really understand why our sleep gets so interrupted today, we have to look back at how we evolved. For thousands of years, human beings had an incredibly powerful, built-in connection to sunlight. Before we had electricity, we were strictly bound by daylight, and our biological sleep cycles naturally just followed suit.
Which leads me to a very direct question for you. Do you often find yourself waking up between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m.? It is honestly so frustrating when you manage to fall asleep just fine, but then boom, you're wide awake at the exact same time every single night, and you're paying for it with serious fatigue the next day.
And this contrast you see here is really the core of the problem. On one side, you have our natural, ancient biological programming synced to the sun. On the other side, modern electricity and tech. We're staring at screens, keeping our minds and bodies highly active way past sundown. This constant stimulation is just wreaking absolute havoc on the natural sleep cycles we historically relied upon. Now, to decode these frustrating wake-ups, we turn to the concept of qi. In Chinese medicine, qi is essentially energy, and this energy moves through your body in a 24-hour cycle. Every 2 hours, that qi is at its absolute strongest within a specific organ and its functions. Here's the key takeaway you've got to remember. In this system, your physical body and your emotional state are completely inseparable. Any physical disharmony is directly tied to what you're feeling emotionally. So, let's map this out. We're going to take a diagnostic journey through the night looking at these 2-hour windows. Because if you're waking up at the same time every night, it's not random. Your body is desperately trying to send you a message. Let's figure out what yours is saying.
Moving to Section 2, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. If you're someone who struggles with early night awakenings, like right after you finally drifted off, you'll want to pay really close attention to these next two windows.
First up, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., we are in the window of the triple heater, which relates to the endocrine system. This is when your body adjusts its homeostasis and replenishes your immune system. If you fall asleep but suddenly jerk awake here, it usually means your body is just too stressed. You're subconsciously stuck in fight or flight mode. Fearful or anxious thoughts tend to get really loud right now. So, a super practical tip for your personalized nighttime routine, keep a notepad right by your bed. Just scribble down any racing thoughts or unfinished plans so your brain can finally let them go. Also, try to avoid huge evening meals. Your body needs to focus on reorganizing itself, not digesting a heavy dinner.
Then we shift into the 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. window, which is when the gallbladder takes over. Physically, your gallbladder breaks down fats, so waking up now might be a sign to cut back on unhealthy fats or switch to healthier oils. But emotionally, waking up in this window is a huge indicator that you're harboring feelings of bitterness, judgment, or resentment. You've got to spend some time during the day reflecting on your relationships to release that heavy negativity. Try using this specific journaling prompt before bed. What resentments am I carrying from today? Getting that on paper really helps unblock that energy.
Section 3 brings us to the 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. window. We're crossing midnight now into the deep night, which is arguably the most frustrating time to be jolted awake.
Between 1 a.m. and 3 a.m., your liver is supposed to be using this time to deeply rejuvenate. If you're waking up, your liver is overwhelmed. And let's be real, in today's fast-paced world, our livers are working major overtime. They're fighting off a toxic environment, fatty foods, alcohol, and even the eye strain from staring at computer screens all day. Physically, this imbalance can show up as muscle cramps, mood swings, or PMS. Emotionally, the liver holds on to toxic feelings, specifically intense anger, resentment, and stress.
If 1 a.m. to 3 a.m. is your personal trouble spot, it's time for some daily lifestyle changes. Physically, do your body a massive favor and minimize the alcohol, greasy foods, sugar, and caffeine. You might even want to try a gentle liver detox. Emotionally, you need to actively identify the sources of negative energy in your life. Try running through a healthy mental checklist at the end of the day to pinpoint exactly what triggered your anger and make a conscious effort to free yourself from it.
Now, this is really interesting. The 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. window points directly to your lungs. Waking up here means something is literally blocking your ability to take deep, restorative breaths. While it can be physical, it's very often linked to powerful emotions. Waking up between 3 and 5 a.m. strongly signals underlying grief, maybe associated with a recent loss or a profound inability to relax and accept the things in your life that you simply can't control.
All right, moving to Section 4, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. We are into the early morning hours now, where the body shifts its focus to elimination and getting ready for the day ahead. Between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m., your colon experiences its greatest flow of energy, getting primed to eliminate waste as effortlessly as possible. Because of this massive energy surge, this is actually the absolute best time to wake up and get some vigorous exercise in to activate your qi. If you're dealing with digestive issues during this window, your colon needs some TLC. A huge lifestyle tip for better sleep hygiene and colon health: make sure you are prioritizing daytime hydration.
Emotionally, this 5 to 7 a.m. window is all about your ability to let go. Just like the colon physically eliminates waste, mentally, a disturbance here means you might be psychologically holding on to issues, people, or past situations. Fixing this requires consciously putting faith in the things you can't change. Here's a great journaling prompt for this. What am I stubbornly holding on to that I literally have no control over? Visualize letting it float away like a balloon and refocus only on what you actually control.
Section 5, your body's emotional clock. Let's pull everything we've uncovered together into a clear, actionable picture. Take a look at this simple table format showing the complete organ and emotion chart. I really encourage you to use this as a self-assessment checklist. Find your specific wake-up time. Note the organ, sure, but more importantly, look at that associated emotion. Are you dealing with fear, bitterness, grief? Identifying the specific emotional stressor tied to your physical symptom is step 1 to fixing your sleep. Use this as a guide to process those underlying emotions during your waking hours.
Which brings us to our final section, restoring your sleep cycle. We've diagnosed the issues, so let's look at how beautifully Eastern medicine and Western science align on the solution. 10:30 p.m. In Chinese medicine, it isn't just about how many hours you sleep, it's about when you sleep. 10:30 p.m. is your crucial target bedtime. The goal is to be fully, completely asleep by 11 p.m. because the window from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. is the most critical time for your health, especially as we get older. This is when the gallbladder and liver are regulating your qi, processing those heavy emotions, balancing hormones, and detoxing your entire system.
And what's absolutely fascinating is how modern Western science completely backs up this ancient clock. Science confirms that we get our deepest, most restorative sleep during the first third of the night. During those specific hours, your stress hormone, cortisol, drops, and your calming parasympathetic nervous system takes over, pulling you out of that daytime fight-or-flight mode. Plus, human growth hormone, which is vital for repairing your body, is mostly released between 9 p.m. and 7 a.m. Miss out on that early sleep, and you're missing out on cellular repair, memory consolidation, and daytime alertness. So the Chinese medicine body clock gives us this incredible, unique insight into both our physical and emotional health. I want to leave you with a challenge. Keep a 7-day tracking log of your sleep patterns. Just jot down what time you're waking up tonight and ask yourself, what is your body trying to tell you? Trust your intuition, observe your wake-up times without judging yourself, and finally start listening to the vital messages your body is sending. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and here is to a deeply restorative night of sleep.